Semen retention, the secret to masculine energy. I think nowadays a lot more men are aware of the benefits of containing their seed, of not watching porn and not being promiscuous. And I'm very happy about that. But I still think the vast majority of men do not understand how sexual energy is something we need to preserve, we need to transmute, and we need a certain level of discipline to do so. It makes sense. We live in a hyper-sexualized society where we have the freedom to desire. So it does not make sense to continue it because ejaculation is the fulfillment of the desire to ejaculate. So why would we contain our seed? It's counterproductive. When you're a bit more interested in masculinity and spirituality and how to achieve things in life and self-improvement, self-actualization, you understand there are benefits to containing that seed, to go towards the freedom from desire, to go towards not looking for short-term pleasures, which is ejaculation, but instead go towards long-term gratification. That's where sexual discipline is. And maybe you are young and you don't want to do that because it doesn't make sense to you. But I'm telling you, if you can put porn aside, because porn should not have any space in a man's life, and be on semen retention and have that sexual discipline that comes from being on semen retention. And by semen retention, it is not an excuse to watch more porn and not ejaculate like those gooners, or to have sex consistently, constantly with women and chase women and being promiscuous without coming. This is not an excuse to do so. To be on semen retention is to have that sexual discipline where you don't need to have that much sex, where you don't need to masturbate. There's a time and place for masturbation and sex. It's about moderation. It's about the way you go about it and not being consistently thinking about having sex and coming and masturbation and coming. When you have that sexual discipline and when you can transmute that energy inside of you, you have to understand the sexual energy, that sexual energy is your drive in life. That is why I have a huge problem with porn and things like weed, because porn and weed brings you into a state of apathy. Apathy means you are complacent with your misery. You're not contented with the good things in life. You're not contented by being grateful about the good things in life. No, you are complacent with the misery. You are agonizing yet still being alive. So apathy is one of the lowest emotion vibration you can feel in this life. And that is why I have a huge problem with porn and weed, because apathy leads to depression, leads to sadness, and can even lead to suicidal thoughts and suicide ideation. So that is not a good thing, obviously. But by doing the opposite and having sexual discipline, that is when you can become unstoppable. Because most men are going this direction of ejaculation, and it costs ejaculation all the time, ejaculation consistently and constantly. You are deciding to retain that seed, not for a long time, a few weeks at a time, few months at a time. You don't need to go on a longer streak. I'm telling you, I have a huge problem with people who are advocating longer streaks. I think most men, first of all, it is not required and it's not advisable. Going on a longer streak is often using willpower, suppression, and repression of that sexual urge. And we understand nowadays that that sexual repression and suppression can lead to things like the priests in the Catholic Church, not all priests, but some priests that will go and do things that they are not allowed to do, that are reprehensible and illegal and obviously completely wrong. You do not want to use willpower and force to deal with your sexual energy. It is so much more potent and so much more stronger than you are. You want to cooperate with it. You want to deal with it. You want to understand it and let it flow. That is why I strongly recommend men to go on a few weeks, a few months without porn, without ejaculation. It does not mean that you are not strong enough to do longer than it. You are already doing a few weeks, a few months. That in and of itself is unbelievable. And I've done 3 months in a meditation center, but I was in a meditation center. Hindu monks Buddhist monks have tools like meditation to help them deal. When I was in the meditation center at 20, my hormones were at the peak. I had only desires to have sex and masturbate. But when you are in the meditation center and you meditate 12 plus hours a day, you deal with it. It was a walk in the park. I did not touch myself for 3 months. It was easy because I had the tool to deal with that sexual energy. Zero retention and meditation go hand in hand. So if you can have the sexual discipline and have tools like meditation, you can reach higher levels of insight when it comes to your spirituality, your masculinity, your greatness, and your self-actualization. You can understand who you truly are and become unstoppable. But you have to understand you will be going against the grain. But most people will never know what they are truly capable of if they cannot tame that sexual energy, or at least not tame, if they can at least deal with their sexuality, cope with their sexuality, and sublimate it and transmute it into becoming their better selves. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Sebastian, your addiction recovery coach, and I'm here to help those of you who want to give up porn, desexualize their mind, and other compulsive behaviors. Links in the description box. Links are in the description box below, and I'll see you very soon.